It's now time for the news, and I'm Walter Bullshit. Just kidding. Hello, welcome to the Reloading Podcast here on the Firearms Radio Network. Presented by Patriot Patch Company and Camerado. So, as you can see, it's me, myself, and I currently. Nick will be joining me in a little while. But tonight's topic involves you in the chat, the live chat. So, I've asked a few other people as well, but the topic for tonight is gonna be what's the best advice you've gotten? What's the worst advice you've gotten? And what's the best advice or worst advice you've given? So I asked in Discord and I asked in a couple other places. So we'll see what everybody says. Let's see if Rumble's working. Hot damn. Thanks for the gift, Russ. So I want everybody to, wherever you are, if you're watching this live on Tuesday night, February 17th, to message us with your best or worst, or both. So we're going to start on Discord. And Paul Loud, that lovely Maine person, gave a response. He says, one I've seen a couple of times is to weigh loaded rounds to find over under no powder charge. That is some bad advice. The reason it is because there's no guarantee that your weight is going to be consistent. You have, let's start with the basics. Your brass. You have the opportunity to have different brass, which will weigh differently depending on the makeup of it. And there's all sorts of other fun stuff that goes into that too. But sorry, I had to switch to audio. It was coming through the speaker for some stupid reason. So, which isn't a problem right now because it's just me, myself, and I. But when Nick joins, then that would create an echo. So, but yeah, the whole premise of try it sometime just for fun. Find a couple of your cartridges that you made up when you're just testing, the ones that don't have a primer and powder in them. Weigh them and then weigh a few rounds and see how much of a difference it is. And you'll find out pretty quick that the loaded rounds are not consistent. Actually, go buy get a box of ammo off the shelf and start weighing those, factory ammo. So, and you'll find out really, really quick that it's not always that consistent. So, so yeah, that whole entire thing. All right. What kind of prompted this is, just a couple questions and stuff. But also, there was this, and I don't know if I'll be able to get this to show up or not. Kids, don't do this. Lord help me. Probably something my son would do. Kids, don't do this. This is a redneck version of sticking your finger in a light socket. Okay, there we go. So, as you saw, that was a loaded cartridge, and that was some sort of hardened metal, looked like a drill bit, honestly, in a pair of needle nose pliers, and then they were putting that against the primer and then striking it with a hammer. Yeah, just because it's not in the barrel and it doesn't have, it won't reach full pressure, doesn't mean it's not still dangerous. If that would have hit somebody's foot, yeah, you probably, if you're lucky, it just bounces off and causes some bruising, but probably it would have at least, caused some bigger damage than that. So, sorry, weird itching. I guess the strangest advice I've heard is to, if you got your different manuals, to take the max and min and then use the mean of them. And that's where you start. So you take your min, you add them all up and divide it by, however many, if you got 4 manuals you're using or 3 manuals or whatever, and that's the number you're going to use. And then do the same thing with the max. Now, obviously, it could cause problems. It could not. Basically, what you need to do in a situation like that, where you've got 4 different manuals and 4 different charge weights, see if your projectile manufacturer has a recommendation. Go from there, or pick one. But you don't add them up and then divide and then use that number. More than likely, you're probably not going to get very good results with it. It's not necessarily a good idea to do something like that. And I know people that do it, they still have all their fingers and toes and haven't blown up any guns, but there's always a chance. So, my bad advice is to take your used gunpowder or your old defective gunpowder. Yes, gunpowder can be defective. It can age and go bad. Lovely aroma when that happens. Lovely bad aroma. But my bad advice is to burn it up in a fire. Yeah, it's not a good idea. Just use it as fertilizer. So, because you may forget to put the cap on one time, and then you get a, 3/4 of a pound of powder that ignites in one shot. That doesn't go well. It does not go well, kids. No, it does not. If you go back to about 2 years ago, you'll see some shows and you'll see the result. So probably the best advice: buy multiple reloading manuals, get a variety of loads, see what you like. And he says he still falls back in alignment in the reloading manuals most. The chat's right there. The text is right behind my camera, so that's what I'm doing here. I'm waiting for people in the chat to give feedback. So we've got Raggle Fraggle, Clifford Zach, Desperado, 8605, and old one guy 994. Anybody? Best advice, worst advice, whether you've given it or not? Maybe it's just something you've heard. We always joke around about the taking the piece of brass and filling it up with powder, scraping it off and then slamming a bullet in there. Yeah, that's usually a bad idea, especially if you're going to use something like this, because this is tight group. In that 9mm case, I put triple charge. Goodbye, gun. Yeah, Six Pack Project just said the same thing I was talking about. Don't measure, just fill the case. So, oh, good grief. So, it works with 87 hen. Yeah, I figured. I hadn't read off what you said earlier though, so I got to go to that. So Desperado said, have an idea for what you're wanting to do. If you're shooting 2 to 4 MOA steel, you don't need to have quarter MOA reloads. Worst advice I've gotten, this is what he's gotten. You shouldn't start on a progressive. I loaded 20 rounds on that turret press, and then I went to a 550, and other than load development, everything just gets loaded on it. So, and then he says, guy told me he uses Hornady Max as his starting charge. Yeah, they're low compared to everyone else, but yikes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Hornady is lower, and occasionally Hornady is max as somebody else's min, but not all the time. So, yeah, that's just plain bad. So, Paul said number one bad reloading advice is listening to a forum. Yeah, advice by committee is not a good idea. So, definitely not a good idea. So, probably the good old fashioned this is min and that is max. Where I should start. Where should I start? Just a little below the max, right? Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that's there is plethora of bad advice out there. Get a manual, and God, it's been so long since I've done a show by myself. It's weird. Sorry, gang. But I unfortunately everybody else was busy, so this is what we got. So, but talking about the advice that Desperado had sent me via text, I honestly used to think that you had to start on a single stage. I used to think that. Then I got a 550, and there's quite a few shows where Jim and I went back and forth over that discussion on whether you could use this 550 here to start with, or you really needed a single stage or a turret. And I've changed, because the thing is, this is a manually indexed press, so that means that this doesn't move. No, it doesn't move right now because I've got what is jammed? Oh, it just hadn't been moved in a little bit. It didn't move because I haven't reloaded in a couple of weeks on it, so I need to fix that problem. But this is a manually indexing press, so I can literally do one step at a time. So like I can put it all in here and just do priming, decapping and priming, and then have them run all the way around. And then I can charge the powder and run them all around. The thing with charging the powder is if you're going to do that, you better have a loading block handy. So that's the thing. Because if you're going to do that, You can't just run it and tip it out because obviously you're going to have powder all over the place. And then you can seat your bullet and crimp, or whatever. The other thing you can do is you can literally go. This is predicated on being able to have the understanding on how to set this up so your dies are all set at the same time. That can be a challenge. Okay. 550 is a lot easier to do than a lot of other progressives, as we learned with this one over here, the Square DLB, or the Lee that's out in the garage, or the Hornady Lock and Load AP that is out of here. So, or a 650 or anything else, or the X10. It is a different process, different challenge. Can it be done? Yes. Is it easy to do? Not necessarily. That's why I'd stay with the 550, because you can literally just put one die in at a time and you don't have to have everything set together. So that's kind of a good thing. You can just put your one die in at a time, and then take it back out when you're done and not have to worry about trying to get it all coordinated. It's not really that hard once you're experienced, but that's the thing is getting to that knowledge. And if you're just starting out, that's why everybody used to recommend just the single stage right here, or a turret, which is down there. And I'm not picking that stupid thing up because it's heavy. So once I'm done loading up some 9, this is going to, and then I'm going to put the turret here. So, but for now, that's what it is. So Cliff, so Six Pack Project said, get a manual or two and read it. Is probably the best advice out there. Yes. So, and what they mean by read it is, here's Sierra's. I just happen to have it sitting here. So, you notice all these tabs here. And then as you start paging through, it's not just data. This is all table of contents, so we're going to skip ahead here. This talks about the authors who wrote it. So, and then here is talking about Sierra's ballistic services. So a little bit of advertising. Here we go into Sierra bullets. A little bit of history and stuff. Talking a little bit about that. And then reloading. So this is going to go through your basic steps. If you don't have, a mentor to work with, or you're not torturing yourself by watching our stuff, that's that. Friends don't let friends load on the Lock and Load AP. That's funny. Do I have any other manuals down here? Yeah, Lyman's over there. Hornady's over there. But most of them have your basic steps. Some of them go in a little more detail. But all the reloading manuals actually have a breakdown of the descriptions. Let me see if I can reach them. Ollie's kind of mad at me tonight because I went shooting with their kid on Sunday, and all the guns are just piled here because I didn't feel like dealing with them. I still don't feel like dealing with them, so they're still sitting there. Come here. Ow. Oh, earplugs. Woohoo. Anyway. So here's Hornadays. Don't worry, the reloading manuals are safe, unlike the equipment, according to Bench Addict. So, you got your table of contents. Little history of the company. And then talking about projectiles, going into the basics of reload of cartridge. Starting to talk about a little bit about reloading here. Lots of good pictures, so that's kind of nice. Ow. So, Lyman shot shell. So, to give you an idea, here's your manual. This section's data. This section's instructions. So, but it gives you some breakdown and interesting stuff. It gives you shot shell ballistics, which is kind of cool. Talks a little bit about casting your own slugs. So talks about reloading on a progressive. Yes, there are shot shell progressive presses. Lots of them. In fact, Dylan makes one, and so did RCBS. So, and you can do the single cartridge on other presses too, on other progressives too. But you're gonna do basically follow the instructions, get the press set up like it's supposed to be, and then just do one at a time. So you don't put any in the brass hopper or the brass feeder. You just literally single load a piece of brass and single load your bullet and everything. So until you get, because it's easy to screw up on a progressive, and you can be 10, 15, 20 loads or rounds through, and all of a sudden you realize it hasn't been throwing powder. And now you get to pull bullets, which sucks. So, as far as reloading goes, it's not a matter of if you're going to screw up, it's a matter of when. You will screw up. Even the best reloaders in the world screw up. The idea is to mitigate your screw ups and figure out how to prevent them. You know, it's something that requires a lot of focus. So Alaska Ross said in Rumble, he says, I listen to this show, so I have a group where I don't have to deal with bad or dangerous advice. Interwebs can be dangerous. Listener beware. Before the show, it was always just careful guesswork. Books are always a good investment. So, definitely definitely attention to detail. Own a bullet puller or 3. So, 6-pack project just kind of broke it down what I was trying to explain. Like the first 200 pages, pretty much every manual is instructions. 90% of the problems people will encounter are in those pages. Absolutely. The biggest thing you're going to want to do when you're sitting down to reload, if you want to have music on the background, fine. Some people actually have the brain capacity to be able to watch videos while they're reloading. Not me. So you want to focus on what you're working on. So it's not like I want to sit here and reload and then I'm going to play with my Titan X. See, I'm not going to be. No, it's not a gun, YouTube. It's a laser. Beak. See, laser. So it's not like I'm going to sit here and do this while I'm loading. I'm not going to play around while I'm loading because that's not going to help. So save the Titan X for later. So Titan X is a great product. If you want to work on your dry firing, the nice thing is the Manus operations are in it. So you can have your Manus app good to go. Pull up your app. impromptu ad. You know, I have too many apps on this phone. I don't know if I. Ding. So, you know, you can just do your open training. And what this is just to see how well I can shoot. So I'm going to cheat and keep it on the desk. And you can see that I'm moving it and wiggling it. So what it's doing is it's measuring movement. And you can see it's growing worse as I'm doing it because I'm rapid firing and, you know, not holding it. See, if I pin it down on the mag, notice my scores are better. So, and it tells you on the bottom what I'm doing. So what I was doing there is I was playing with the distance on my finger, where my finger is located on the trigger. So just a tip. I'm not breaking my wrist up, so. But it'll tell you. See, it'll just keep feeding data as I'm pulling the trigger. Now, it does have the ability to also do targets and stuff. So I could like turn on the camera and it would register that way. So my average score was 53.5, 64.80 seconds. Today's goal was 50 shots. I nailed that. It says I have a flinch. It says healing, anticipating recoil. So I have 57 shots. So what you can do is you see this, and then you can actually put it on a regular chart like that. You can also, it'll track barrel movement. So, and then you can actually start a drill and it'll track the barrel movement in real time. So this is all the Mantis. So if you get like the X3 or the X10 or the X2, that's what this is capable of doing. And then it actually lists out all your shots with your score and your split time. So the split time is the time in between shot. So then you can reset it, you can leave it. So, but I mean, there is holster draw analysis you can do. Holster draw analysis, multiple shots. Basically, holster draw analysis is you can do just a single shot where you're drawing and shooting, and it tracks that. It's got a ready up drill, a 1R1 drill, a bill drill, transitions. It's got a shot timer. It's got the Mantis X benchmarks, the 20-second benchmarks, endurance, compressed surprise break, primary hand, sport hand, decision drills, reload drills, cadence drills, hostage rescue drills. And then it's got a basic marksmanship, advanced marksmanship, elite marksmanship. Wow. And I haven't had a damn thing to drink. Good grief. So it's got basic, advanced, and elite marksmanship training classes, basic, advanced, and elite combat, double action diligence, basic concealed, advanced concealed, and elite concealed. So, and then it will actually show, you know, history of, you know, that type of thing. You can get together with your friends and have a group. So all sorts of different stuff, and that's based off just the software for the Titan X. Nice things about the Titan X: it's got a magazine that's weighted, feels the same as a loaded 15 round mag. Also, you can put an optic on it. So I don't know where they went. Anyway, oh yeah, it's right here. That's what I was going to check the other day. Will an aftermarket mag fit in it? Because that question was asked. And yes, it does. Magpul, 15 round. So, I mean, theoretically, if you really wanted to and you didn't, you could have that. So, but they do give you 2 mags, so you can practice reloading as well. So, and it's Bluetooth and not. So, I mean, the laser works even if I don't have the Bluetooth on where it's connected. So I could use it with Laser Academy like that. So, and it does have a option where you can turn the laser on to leave it on a steady beam so you can see if it's sighted or not. So, definitely something to look into if you don't have something already. It's basically kind of the pistol version of the Blackbeard X. So, okay, so I was hoping Nick could be here, but not yet. Yeah, so the suggestion was made to use virgin brass or once fired brass for reloading until you get a hang of it, because you don't really know what you're looking for. A lot of people miss if they don't know any better, especially on a rifle. You could miss incipient head case separation, and then the next thing you know, you got a piece of brass stuck in your chamber that was just pile drived into the chamber because it separated from the rest of the brass. So if you're lucky, that's all it does. Usually in most of your bolt guns, that's all you're going to get. Excuse me, is just the brass slammed into the chamber, and then the case head comes out with a little bit of brass on there. So, but if you're lucky, I mean, if it's in an AR, you could have worse, a semi-automatic of other sorts, or maybe, something that doesn't lock up as solid. So, you could have a lot of that pressure come backwards. So, but, so Desperado said, my hunting loads are done with Hornady brass because I don't care if I lose it. And my target brass is either Lapo or Peterson, depending on if it's 6.5 Creedmoor or 7 PRC. So that is a big thing, is picking your brass. I've got a bag full of miscellaneous 9mm here. A lot of it was range brass. And no, it's not shiny because I didn't bother throwing it in the tumbler because I don't care. So, hey, Andy, you want to join us as a host? So, you'll find becoming a better shot is going to help your reloading game. So, excuse me. So, let's see what I've got here. Misleading advice. You're going to save a ton of money reloading, which is true to a point. Basically, your cost per round goes down, but it can get very expensive in a hurry. Current prices, this is 500, 600, 1,300. And then I've got the I got a Lyman number 6 back there, which is still 200 for some reason. Frankfurt Arsenal, I think it's 220 now for the IntelliDropper 2. And then I've got the one that RCBS sent me, which is 350. Even the Lee is up to 130 now. So, don't get me started on shot shell. The only advantage of shot shell is I buy most of the stuff at garage sales, so, or it's been given to me. You know, and a lot of it is podcast funded, so it's not like I personally own most of this stuff. Or I did some horse trading, or like I did with Desperado, where I traded him a Dillon 650 for the Frankfurt Arsenal because he was not liking it. So Nick's in the back room. As soon as I see his video come on, then I'll throw him up. But he's just joining and getting his stuff ready. So definitely good to see you, Andy. So good news is primers are coming down. So he said Garrick said definitely I'll attention to detail. He said the only thing I'll do while watching something is hand seating primers, and occasionally I'll still put one upside down. Guilty. Theoretically, with the hand primers, you're supposed to be able to get them to all sit right, but there's definitely a possibility to have one flip, especially as they're shifting, and if the cover pops up just a smidge, it gives them just enough room to flip one over, and then voila, you got a primer in backwards. What do? Very carefully with your decapping pin, slowly push it out. Theoretically, the way a primer is supposed to work is the anvil is resting against the bottom of the primer pocket, and when you slam your firing pin into the back of it, it squishes that anvil, and it goes off. If it's upside down in there, theoretically, it's not supposed to go off, but we all know that theoretically is bull crap, because you can set them off if you're depriming them. Now, it can be done because I've done it. I've also deprimed live cases that are primed the correct way without setting them off. The key is slow and steady. So, So Andy 79Z28 said, I have several full progressive presses. They are all set to specific calibers. Some are set just to do a certain job, but also have a Lyman All-American 8, which I do most of my rifle reloading. Lyman All-American 8 is Lyman's new 8-stage progressive press, or turret press. So the nice thing about turrets is they're not as much moving parts. So, I mean, you can have multiple dies set up. Depending on, with that All-American 8, literally you could think you theoretically have 2 different cartridges being loaded on that same turret. So, come on, guys. There's got to be some more good or bad. So as I was saying about shooting more, yes, you have your equipment, which is expensive, but a lot of your equipment's a one-time purchase. And a lot of people don't need all of the stuff I have sitting around here. I have all of this because I do a podcast. So, honestly, if I didn't do the podcast, I would probably just have my 550 and my Lee press, maybe a turret. I don't know, but for what I load and how much I get to shoot, I don't really need anymore. I mean, heck, my first 500 rounds of 9mm were loaded on my Lee single stage. Mm-hmm. Just because that's what I had. So, um, Nick, are you there? I don't think Nick's there yet. So, let's think of some other bad advice. Um, Buying stuff you don't need. So, I think that's one of those things. Um, that whole entire premise. Um, that so Garrick said don't really have any bad advice, mostly just listen to you guys. Well, that's good to know. So we try not to give bad advice unless it's an example of what not to do, but I mean it's still out there. So um I think some of the best advice I've given is if you don't have a mentor that's going to be there with you, make sure you're following, get as much information as you can. Make sure you're getting um, manuals and everything. And then if you have questions, get a hold of us. More times than I can count, I've done a video, um, either through the Discord or just a video chat, through FaceTime or whatever, with people getting their stuff set up, helping them to figure out what's going on with their equipment, or just getting them set up and loading for the first time. I've probably got 20 or 30 people, that I've sat down at the desk and just walked them through, you know everything that they need to do to get it right. I found a guy on Facebook that needed help with something that I helped with, through Facebook Marketplace. He had something for sale, and I just shot him a quick message, giving him some background advice and telling him he had it priced too low. Um, and so he goes, "Oh, you do a podcast?" He goes, "Well, here, I got a question for you." So I honestly don't know if he's listening today. If he does, cool. If he doesn't, so be it. That's what we're here for, is to give advice and help people out. Since day one, the goal has been to get more advice out there and to get more people involved in reloading. It's kind of counterproductive because it means more people are buying supplies, which means there's not as many out there for some of us. But we've got hidey holes, so we know where to find stuff if we need to. But but the biggest thing and most important thing is get more people involved in the hobby. So corporate needs to recognize that there is still a strong reloading component. Um, there still is a lot of people reloading, and they need to continue to uh, keep us in their plans. So, I need a drink. Sorry, no alcohol. I understand, Andy. So, um, Sorry, he messaged me on the phone and not through that. So he was on his phone. That's why there was no video. But anyway, so Jim Bade 7254 said a friend of mine is weighing powder after putting it in the case. I gave him a scale and told him to weigh the powder first. He said some loads he had to wipe the powder off of the top to get the bullet in. Yeah, that'd be some bad advice that he has to do that. So, whenever you're looking at a load, if it's a compressed load, which means you're actually going to use the bullet to push down the powder to get the bullet seated, it will say it. I also know that the powder will not spontaneously ignite if you're compressing it. So it does need a spark to ignite. Black powder, however, is a whole different story. So I don't know if you could compress black powder to get it to ignite or not. So okay, good news. Nick said he'd be home in like 10. So Paul Nelson said invest in check weights for your scales. So but excuse me. I'm going to check Discord and see if there's any other comments. Nope. No one else. Russ said no alcohol. There is a potential broadcasting disaster averted. No, sometimes I'm better off with alcohol. Anyway, for the podcast, I just don't do the Sean Heron 171 thing. So, learn how to read pressure signs. That's always a good challenge. So, we've done a few episodes on that. So, kind of realize if you get advice, always check it. Check it against others that you know that reload. So whether that's on a various things, because you don't want something that's out of left field that's dangerous and so on and so forth and yada yada. So like you can load a 3D bullet, a 9mm case. Sometimes just make sure they're the correct diameter, and also it's going to depend on your bore. So but hi Vanessa, do you have any good or bad advice that you've been given or good advice that you've given over the years for your loading? So excuse me, crikey. Sorry, Chris. This is going to suck to edit. No alcohol when reloading is a suggested idea. So, same thing with other, recreational drugs. It can affect and or impair your ability to focus and pay attention to what you're doing. One piece of advice that I would give is If you have to walk away, Andy said he should has way too much stuff. Should start selling it off. Well, I mean, if you're not using it, then yeah. And Andy, keep in mind we do have a buy and sell in the Discord. So, yeah, but I mean, if you've got stuff sitting there and it's not being used, and you're not having plans to use it, sell it off. You know, if you're not sure what fair price is, there's ways to find out. So, you can definitely do that. So, and then you sell it off and buy guns. And he said, keep your powder dry. That's always a good idea. Wet powder doesn't work very well. Keep your powder in your original container. Don't put it in a coffee can or whatever else. So. Oh, they probably banned me for showing off the Titan. It wouldn't surprise me. I hate YouTube. Oh, YouTube itself is down. Oops. That's not good. Well, that really sucks. Yeah, YouTube is down. So it's not just banned. We're not banned. It's broken. Wow. That's shocking. Well, we are live on Rumble. And you can also pop into here directly. So I can't even put it out to YouTube. So if you remember Discord, we do stream live in Discord. Weird. So I guess YouTube's up for some people. Interesting. I wonder if it's an Android thing or an Apple thing. Yes, I do have Evil Empire equipment. Does this have a charge in it? Yep, it does. So. Weird. Anyway. Helps if I make sure it's actually connected to the Wi-Fi first. Anyway, it's the only problem with tech is when it starts to go bad. Are they making unique? Alliance got a lot of issues with powder lately, it seems like. As far as I know, they are still making it. But we'll find out. So, but it's good to have. It must be locale, because I don't have it on my iPad either. So, but having apps is also cool. So, there's quite a few different ones out there. It's always a good thing to have. I had something else I was going to say. But Michael Dunn, I don't think I have. It depends on where you shut it off at. If it was on Facebook, I'm not on Facebook much. So. Oh, nice. Congratulations.
Don't like the comparison, but your friend's got a point.
Whoops. That was weird. It showed me a YouTube video through Facebook, but not anything else. Let's see here. So, Michael, how do you like it so far? Yeah, Ken got one too. Weird. Yeah, that is really weird. Hey, there he is. Hi, Nick.
How we doing?
Slogging along.
You gotta love when somebody just says to bother you at the end of the meeting and like, I gotta go.
Hey, that's what happens. So I guess YouTube.
What happened?
YouTube went out for a good chunk of people.
I noticed that. I was trying to log on to like listen to it on the way home, and then I'm like, my phone wasn't wanting to work for some reason, but like I could go into my history and click on the thing because I clicked on it to see if who during the meeting, check on a few things, and it's like, what the heck? So,
yep. Interesting.
But and then it's been a busy week and a half for 2 weeks for me. So
yeah,
I was in Texas for work all last week, and
how'd that go?
Good. Good site visit. We have some issues arise, but we'll get those figured out. And then so I was on site. Flew down Monday. Was there all week. Monday or Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday half day at site. And then I drove to Austin. I got some buddies live in Austin and San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
Hung out with them Thursday night, and then Friday night. Friday I worked like 3 or 4 hours. I only had a couple hours to work before my 40 hit for the week. I didn't want to charge OT this last week, so then ran some errands, went to a couple gun shops just to waste some time. And then Saturday worked at a gun shop or a gun show with one of my buddies that's an FFL down there, and of course found a gun. Too good of a deal to pass on, so
Now it's
picked that
fun.
up. He's got that. He's gonna be shipping it to me here. It's a Siamese Mauser. Siamese.
Nice.
Nobody
Good grief.
makes dies besides CH4D. But I was just searching Google, maybe thinking there's a way I could take, a 8mm Lebel, size it down, and kind of make multiple dies I might have. And I find a set that sold on eBay. I don't know when they sold, but it was one of the newer RCBS boxes with the newer labels. So I'm like, huh.
Did you get a hold of?
So of course, I text our good friend Joel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the first person I sent a text to. Like, Joel, I have a product number. I have what group it's in. Is there any way that these might just be somewhere, a set sitting around somewhere? If not, is there any way? Because I remember watching Gavin's video. All they have, it's on a computer that they can turn the dies or punch the dies out. If they made it one time, they still have everything they need. I'm like, I'll pay $125-$130. I guarantee you guys would make a decent amount of money because CH4Ds, who knows how long they're backed up on.
Right.
Because they only make slot runs. I guarantee they would sell them. So, but we'll see. That was yesterday. We'll see what Joel says.
Yeah.
So,
Burst Fire 211 brass case induction annealing machine center and prep center is currently $649.87.
yeah, I gotta text him. I did not get a chance to do it last week. I'll shoot him a text in the morning.
So,
We'll get a look at getting him on the show.
yep. And their flame annealer is $298.87 for the 2-in-1 that's got the prep center on top. So, but so he said he traded in his EP integration. What happened to you, Nick? What happened to you?
I have no idea. It
That was
just
weird.
like went away.
I didn't even touch anything. So
I'm just sitting here. My Surfshark thing opened up, but that's common when I open my computer, but not disappear. I've been having computer issues all day. My tab was not wanting to work this morning for some reason.
Oh, that's no fun. So he said he traded his EP integrations flame annealer in. Interesting.
Yeah, that is. I'm for the induction. He got the induction.
Yeah.
I need to look into that induction a little more. I don't know if I would trade it in for how many different calibers I load, because I don't know the opening for the induction with all my different cartridges. Would it work? So I love how I found a random bullet bowl the other day that I didn't know I had.
Interesting.
It's a 457.
Nice.
But it's Lyman, so they're weird. They're weird naming convention, like 457-677 AV. You look that up, you can't find it anywhere. But it's a big boy.
Yeah, it is.
So I'm assuming I bought it for like one of my old black powder guns.
Yeah.
Don't really bought it.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. The question is, do you still have it? So.
Oh, I haven't sold anything. The only gun I've sold in the last year was a Snyder, but I got a new one instead, so I upgraded.
Yeah. It says aluminum wheel included, standard wheels up to 308, Magnum wheel up to 338, Lapua. Short case feed ramp included.
Does he give the opening side? Because if it's induction, it drops into something where I'm assuming it coils around. That's the orphan. Well, if it handles up to 338 on the feed size,
closed loop water cooling induction system.
Yeah. Huh.
So, and triple fan air cooling system.
Yeah, I'll shoot him a text. I got his phone number. I'll shoot that guy a text
Yeah.
from him tomorrow. See if we can get him on the show here next month or so. We'll say this, I am done. I don't have any more travel planned for work.
Mm-hmm.
We just had to get back down there and look at some things. Can you make any more noise, Hazel? Jeez. And then I'm done till next month. Come here. Let me take your heart leash off so you can scratch all you want, and not make noise.
Oh, that's cute. So
There, scratch all you want.
So it
I
says
will
Burst
be
Fire is a
corrected.
trade-in program. I'll take anything that is brand named.
Really? They will take a trade in, huh? I almost like, hey, Dad, do we want to? Because we each have the EP integrations in Eeler. Do we trade one in?
So
I don't know.
return viewer keeps saying Don. So interesting. Oh, there we go. Yep, down there. Oh, and then here he said, I'm still watching on YouTube, but it can't load. So what's Don about, return viewer? Return viewer's guide. What's Don about? So anyway, let's see here. Garrick said get Starlink, Nick. It's worth every penny.
I don't need Starlink.
Yeah.
I don't have internet issues. That's Sharenda.
Yeah, Sharenda's the one that's got the internet issues. So
My internet runs great. I'm on the Verizon home internet,
yeah.
which runs off the cell towers, and there's a Verizon cell tower about 350, 400 yards that way. So I have some of the best Verizon service you can get.
Mhm.
I just got a booster. I just got to put upstairs for the computer upstairs, or an extender, whatever it is, because the main internet box.
I got
is here
fiber
in the
now,
living
so.
room. Yeah, I started when I moved into this house. They have AT&T out here, fiber, which is dog crap, and it's expensive as shit.
Yeah.
And so I was like, after a year, I canceled that. We found the Verizon one's like $40 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And so we do that. And my sister has it at her house. My parents have it at their house, and it works great. I don't do any really gaming, so I don't have to worry about the super crazy fast internet. But for this and other things I do, it does just fine. Feels weird not having my beard anymore. Oh, I shaved it off yesterday. You would not have recognized me. It had gotten pretty good thickness wise. And I found out I have a cedar allergy.
That's
whatever the cedar style in Texas is, I got congested super bad while I was down there. So, but I'm back to normal. So I got back Sunday, just in time to watch the 500.
That was a pretty good race.
Yeah, until somebody decided to ruin my guy's day.
Yeah, poor Gator.
Danny Hamlin, of all people, of course, he had to ruin it. But that's all right. And they've ruined a beautiful race car.
Yeah, it was. Traveler whiskey. So it happens.
But as far as good advice and bad advice, biggest piece of good advice, and it's probably already been said, just take your time.
Yeah.
No need to rush. Especially like in the old stuff like I shoot. There's no need to rush it. Do it once, do it right. Hairball, I guess. Okay. But and then bad advice.
God love him.
She's just laid here all day. And then now when I get home, she's like, oh, I want to play. I'm like, oh, yeah. Then where was that earlier or last night?
Right.
Sister to go out of town for work, so I got to watch her for a couple days. But bad advice. I don't know if it's I've had bad tips, but that's not really advice.
Yeah.
It's probably your usuals that pretty much everybody has. Most of them are. I've had stuff people say, "Oh, you don't have to compress black powder and cartridge loading." I'm like, that's a lie. You will die.
Okay, so what was that about black powder?
So, like, if you're loading, like, say, I got one right here. This 4590. Say
Yeah.
I'm loading with black powder. If you don't compress it and if you have like no air gaps, if you have like an air gap between your bullet seating and your powder,
Mhm.
that black powder doesn't like that, so the case will rupture. Potentially, could blow your gun up. So yeah, you want to either put like cotton fill in there, cream of wheat, just something to fill that gap between your powder and your bullet. That's a tip for any black powder reloading.
Okay.
At least cartridge reloading. Front stuff muzzleloader, complete. It's kind of the same thing. You want to make sure that bullet's seated all the way on top of your black powder. It's basically the same thing, but your barrel is your case.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I agree with I'm being a little facetious. Yeah, you won't die, but you could seriously hurt yourself pretty bad, or turn into Kentucky ballistics, where you got to stick a thumb in your neck.
So, yeah. Yeah, that's what I was wondering about earlier. It was like, compact compression loads. I was telling them about because we were talking about just filling the case, topping it off, and they said, yeah, there are some loads out there where you have to do that.
You can do that too. Normal powder, no, but black powder, yeah, you want to compress. That's where the weird iffy thing is on it.
Yep.
That's another one. What Michael Dunn said. I don't reload for anybody else. Well, nope. I take it back. I've done it once. That's the only time I will do it.
I did it too, for my buddy.
Yeah, and it was for an old Swiss rifle that it's such a low charge.
Yeah, this was 257 Weatherby. But I also had the rifle and was testing it before I ever turned him loose.
Well, and that's the thing is I saw we both got him at the same time. We both packaged him at the same time.
Yep.
I looked over his rifle. His rifle was mechanically sound. I tested the loads in my gun first. So more than likely they were going to be just fine. So, and he shot him. He's got a YouTube channel. He shot him in a YouTube short and they ran great. So I'm like, hey, I'm good. Nice. So, but.
Yep. The only thing I've ever done with reloaded ammo is take it apart.
Yeah. I bought tons of old reload stuff that you just buy for the brass and bullet.
So 6-pack project kind of added on to yours. Airspace creates a faster burn of the powder with black powder, which as an explosive is a bad thing in regards to pressures.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had even just the slightest amount of air gap. You think you have it. I've had it blow out the side of cases before. So, yeah, that's a good thing. It's like, any of your old 4570s, like trapdoors, you want to make sure if you're using true black powder, make sure you have your powder all the way down. So a lot of times I'll do, if I'm loading, say 4570, I'll take it like this isn't a dowel rod, but I'll take a dowel rod. I'll kind of tap it down, put either cream of wheat, and then seat the bullet or some wax, even cotton fill, just something to take up space. A lot of times, actually, also, this is on smokeless side, if say you're loading a super light charge, say a 38 Smith & Wesson load, and you're using like say 2.4 grains of Universal or something, just for instance, but you still have all that extra case space, take a little pinch of cotton fill.
Yep.
Put it in there, just take up that space, just so if you do put your bullets or loaded ammo in your box that way, or if it ends in a bag, it's just that's holding that powder back against that primer, just so you're getting complete ignition. So that's just another little tip.
Because if you don't, then
you won't get full powder burn.
You may not. Depending on the powder, and depending on the load, you may have big problems.
Yeah, you probably get squib more than anything at that point.
You can get what is it? Pre-detonation, I think they call it.
Yeah, that's another one.
Where it actually blows up the brass and the bullet doesn't go anywhere.
Trying to think anything else. Biggest ones I can think of. Fortunately, I was taught pretty much everything with my dad, so he's done it for how long, and so
Unique is still listed on the website.
yeah, I thought they still had Unique, even though Alliant hasn't made anything in so long. It feels like I haven't been to the powder shop in a while. I
Yeah.
need to go back and see what they got. I haven't been. I can't until last round of ammo I reloaded.
Ooh, they reformulated Herco to be cleaner. And they came up with new loads for the 224 Valkyrie. Maybe they actually came up with something to make it useful.
Yeah, hopefully. I thought that cartridge was dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good video, Michael Dunn. Is the one where Kentucky Ballistics puts smokeless powder in a like a CVA muzzleloader, and it detonates it.
Yeah. Never thought of doing that. So.
Yeah, it's one thing you don't think about, but it goes kaboom.
I'm sure somebody came up with an idea. Oh, let's try it. No. Not designed to do that. So I did a little demonstration with the with Titan X. So I was
Gotcha.
talking about that and showing that off a little bit. So, but yeah, I was kind of hoping we'd get more feedback from the listeners on this, on good advice or bad advice, but not really.
Yeah.
So we got a little bit, but not as much as I was hoping for. So anyway. Oh yeah. Using good advice, wear PPE when you're casting. Bad advice, flips, flops, and shorts are PPE. Bad advice, using sand in a 5-gallon bucket to tumble brass by strapping it to your tire and driving around.
Jeez.
Yeah, Jim did that as an experiment once, and it didn't turn out well.
Yeah.
If you used fine sand, like a silicone sand or, a blasting media sand, maybe, but he used playground sand.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Rather abrasive, but by brass. So. Couple of my cousins used to cut the powder charge by half and load smokeless instead of black powder. I didn't find this out until recently, and how they didn't hurt themselves is amazing.
That's poof.
See, that's the thing is smokeless, when it ignites, it generates higher pressure. So, yeah, that's not a good thing. So, but well, I think that about cuts it for tonight. So, if you're looking for camo, swing over to Camorado.com. CAMORADO.com. So, check out, he's got lots of stuff there, teamed up with some other people to make some custom patterns and stuff. So, but yeah, it's pretty good stuff. Go check it out. So, 6-pack project just popped up. The problem is most advice is bad. True. Tons of old superstitions and old wives' tales in this hobby, like don't reduce H110. If we aren't supposed to reduce, why do we have starting loads for it? So,
Yep.
exactly. So, yeah, I mean, there's lots of old wives' tale. It'd be fun to have people send in their old wives' tales they've heard to reloadingpodcast@gmail.com, and we'll kind of go through and debunk them. That'd be fun to do at one point in time. So, Garrick said he wishes that they could reload Nagant revolver ammo. He said a buddy
Easy.
of his actually has one, and the ammo's hard to come by.
PPE makes brass. PPE makes bullets. Lee makes dies.
There you go. So, yeah. Make sure you're verifying your advice when you're getting it. So, and make sure you know what you're talking about if you're giving advice. So, he goes, really? Lee makes the dies? To the interwebs. Happy searching.
Yeah,
So,
if,
yeah, stuff.
if he's got a question, shoot him, if he's on Discord, have him reach out to me.
Yeah, he is. So,
yeah, shoot me a message, private message. I can help you out whatever you need. I don't reload it because I have crap tons of PPU ammo, and I don't shoot mine that much. But it's not. I will say this: it's not like loading any other pistol cartridge because the bullet sits all the way down in the case.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little different.
So it's kind of like loading a wad cutter.
Exactly. It's like loading a wad cutter. And then you got to do it like I think it comes with like a special crimp because you got to crimp over the actual bullet to skip the gas seal. It's a little different. I've never loaded it, but I know there's videos out there. Everything is readily available. It's not like the cartridges some of the cartridges I load that you have to form the brass, use like a 8mm the bell die, then put it through a 30-06 die and form cases down. No, it's all easily readily available for that specific cartridge. Yeah, you can probably go to Graf's or Midway or Powder Valley and probably can get everything probably right now in stock.
Yeah.
Because Nagant brass isn't that readily common that people buy it. It's not like 8mm Mauser or 303. It's not those super common.
Yep. Yeah, so you should probably be able to find some.
Oh, yeah. No, I was looking at it for mine, but just haven't bit the bullet yet on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you got any questions, let me know.
Yeah, if you got questions on that, let him know. So, all right, gang. So, if you want to help support the show, which usually it's better than tonight kind of sucks. So sorry about that. Got better ones than Nick got here. So, but
that should be back next week. Hopefully their house will be done.
Yeah. So here is your February patch of the month. You complete it. It's an AR lower and upper. So here's your patch. Here's your sticker. Ryan's original drawing. Get that every month by being a Patch of the Month Club member. And if you want to figure out how to do that, you go to https://firearmsradio.net/categories/podcast/reloading-2. And when you get there, you can click on the red support button, sign up to be a Patch of the Month Club member, and you can get cool patches like that every month. And if you want to get cool merch like the Reloading Podcast shirts or the cool tumblers, you can go click on that merch button that's right there. So, and you can go from there. So, and buy all sorts of stuff over at Southern Gales Crafts. And while you're there, you can swing over to the other companies that she supplies merch for too, and check that stuff out. So, great products, great job there. So, check it out. I think that's about it for now. So. we'll be back next week. Better show for you. So I guess I knew I was going to be short on co-host this week, so I kind of was hoping that the listeners would give a little more feedback, but I forgot to post this earlier. So, but that's kind of my fault. So anyway, any shout outs, Nick?
Not at the moment.
No,
That I can think of.
I do not either. So keep your brass shiny.
Jump on the Millsap short bus and teach them to shoot and reload when they're young.
Make sure you're supporting the Second Amendment organizations that are fighting for your rights, whether that's local, state, or national. We still have to keep fighting. Pay attention to who's running for midterms. So make sure you're
Virginia needs help bad for sure.
Yeah. So
They are.
hopefully we can retain the Senate and gain a little bit there. So unfortunately, the politics has come down to, for the most part, figuring out what's really important. I'm a one issue voter, and that's Second Amendment, period. I don't care about the rest. I do care, but I realize that you got to focus, because it doesn't do us any good if the politicians are great on most of the other things and they suck on the second. So you just got to kind of pay attention. Make sure you're really doing your homework on who you're voting for. So, other than that, make sure you're supporting the national organizations that are filing all the lawsuits and everything. So, thanks, Clifford. Thanks to everybody that tunes in every week live, 7 p.m. Central or 7:05 Central, and participates through the chat. Thanks to everybody that listens to the downloads. Thanks to all my co-hosts. Appreciate everybody. And, as we're going through this transition, I appreciate the people that, as they have time, have volunteered to be able to join us. So, but most importantly, if you're struggling, 988 or 1-800-273-8255 from a landline. Reach out, get some help. Walk the Talk America has some great resources too. If it's not a crisis situation, make sure you reach out, get some help. We want you here. We need you here. And we definitely need you here for the fight. So thanks, folks. Have a good night.
Night, y'all.